What is up, everyone? Kyle here. Trying my laptop today versus my phone. I usually use my phone for these live videos, so we'll see how this one goes. Let me know. Make sure it looks good. Been having some issues getting quality set up, so hopefully this one isn't completely terrible. Wait a few moments and we'll get started here. Come here, bud. Okay, it's not terrible. I just had someone send me a video. So basically, what up, guys? Kyle here. I know it's not Wednesdays. Just Wednesday didn't quite work out, so we're going to do just this week live video on Thursdays. I know, get on about 10-15 minutes, talk about the subject, the content, and then talk some shit, stuff like that. Too bad MOTEC is on crazy back order. Yes, that's part of the issues with everything going on. So we'll get started here. Basically, so you want a MOTEC? Well, for Mustang guys, MOTEC might not be the best option for you. For those of you who have seen, what was it, a couple days ago? If you guys know who Brian Luna is, went 695 at 200 miles an hour. Built motor, glide, but he did it with Ford, like a Ford control system. Like, how insane is that? Basically, taking no aftermarket PCM. I think he had an AMS 2000, which is just a boost controller. Taking aftermarket boost controller, factory PCM, stuff like that, and going sixes. IRS, absolutely insane. So that begs the question, is a MOTEC actually worth it? See it like UGR, stuff like that, the big horsepower guys running MOTEC. Well, they're doing it for trans control, the main thing. Obviously, I'm going to get a lot of hate on this. For me, it's mainly the trans control that they're. Obviously, they have like built-in parameters, safety parameters with the engine management, all that stuff. But what they're doing it for is the trans control. Because without that, I mean, you can run a Holly, you can run Fuel Tech, you can run all that stuff, but they don't have the trans control like the MOTEC does, working into the factory CAN bus, all that kind of stuff. So with MOTEC, obviously, us Mustang guys don't really need that. Having huge issues, especially GT500 people having huge issues getting MOTEC to actually work. So got a friend, ordered a MOTEC the day they came out. He has now been waiting for 15 months. 15 months, has not gotten it. I think 4, maybe 5 GT500 MOTECs have been released in the time since they became available for order. 4 or 5. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. And one of them is the guy who kind of makes them. I'm not saying it's his fault. Obviously, there's like O'Grady kind of did their 100%, like chip issues, things like that. They're not prioritizing MOTECs for like the M150s, for Mustangs, things like that. They're not prioritizing them. They're building other MOTEC units, things like that, to get those out, and they're kind of leaving us by the wayside. That happens. So it's not 100% their fault, just the way things are right now. But why spend the money on that when you can run basically the same times with a much cheaper setup? Like with my car, we didn't have a aftermarket ECU or anything like that, just factory controls. Obviously, we had a TH400, but TCM was still in the car. We ran that. It's just we didn't need it. Obviously, I could have gone 7. I didn't, but we just factory controls, and it worked. Obviously, MOTEC would have been cool for some of the other stuff, but we didn't need it. What are you doing? Every video, I swear, he just puts his ball underneath that. So with these 4 MOTECs that have been out for GT500s, no one has came out with a number yet. Have you guys noticed that? Anybody who actually follows a GT500 gang, how many MOTEC GT500s have put up a number other than some crazy, stupid-looking horsepower graph? No one. Not a single MOTEC GT500 has ever ran a number. Most people have sold their cars. I think one guy got a MOTEC and then took it off his car and went back to stock. I tell you, it means they're having issues. This TCM on these cars probably, like, obviously I didn't get it, so I don't know for sure. This is just speculation based on what I've heard from people. MOTEC isn't working with a TCM Tremec. They're still going the limp mode. They're still having issues. They're not getting the control that they thought they would, and basically they're expensive tune, really. Obviously, there is a guy that roll races out in California. He claims to be not having any issues, and from videos he's posted, it doesn't seem like he's having a lot of issues. But taking it to the track, doing digs and stuff like that, haven't seen any numbers out of him. So, without and here's the deal: if obviously when we first put the twins on the car, we did everything we could to throw numbers out there, did a lot of testing, went to the track, stuff like that. TH400 car, went to the track, did a lot of testing, tried to just set some stupid not horsepower numbers, stupid track time, 6130s, all that good stuff, all the stuff that proves that not so much technology, but the setup actually works. So why are these people, a lot of people going MOTEC usually are going twins. The twin turbo cars are going MOTEC. There was one guy with the Whipple who went MOTEC, but then he took the MOTEC off. So these people who have switched to MOTEC, why are they not posting up numbers? Why are they not getting out there running these insane numbers? Obviously, MOTEC, you're looking at more than just trans control, engine management, stuff like that. It's pretty awesome traction control, and a lot of people do bring that up a lot of times. The traction control on those things are pretty nice, but is it worth it if they're not actually getting any numbers? People, so just normal GT owners might have a little bit more luck with it. If you're throwing sorry, I got a text message. If you're throwing a $12,000 MOTEC on it, you're probably, built motor, all that kind of stuff. You're going to want maybe more control than what the MOTEC can give you, unless you're just doing it for what the MOTEC gives you for the price. You can get from a lot of other things like Fuel Tech, stuff like that. So for me, I wouldn't get the MOTEC. Looking back, obviously I wanted one, tried to get one, couldn't. Glad I didn't even waste my time trying to acquire one. 15 months, obviously the chip shortage and things like that to make them has caused a lot of issues. But why is it so hard to even get them? I knew so the GT500s require basically a harness. So there's a normal M150 kind of unit, and then there's a harness that hooks into the TCM, and that's how you get all get all the trans to work and it to work with all the CAN bus stuff like that with the GT500. How is it that some people has taken them 6 months just to get that? This guy had a MOTEC, and just the harness took him 6 months to get. It's just insane. It's just insane that all this is taking so long. So I'll read through some of these comments now, and we'll just go from there. But yeah, too bad MOTEC is on crazy backward. That's just 15 months this guy has been waiting. Isn't even there's no ETA. Whenever he asked about it the other day, he got not sure, sometime, hopefully soon. Imagine waiting 15 months. This guy spent $12,000 on a MOTEC with harness to work with his Shelby. Imagine waiting 15 months on that and then getting told no ETA still. It just blows my mind. Built motor, you could throw a TH400 in it and have tons of money left. It's just insane that people are willing to wait that much. A lot of people are canceling the orders now. You'll see it every once in a while on the GT500 pages, people canceling the orders because they are just tired of waiting for something. At this point, who knows when it may actually come. Is it on back order? Vinny goes, is it on back order? Just the whole chip thing? Yeah. Fun fact, Michael O'Grady, if he's still in this, he would know more than I would about the chip shortage and all. They did get bought out recently too. Who bought them out? But MOTEC was bought out by another company, and that kind of that didn't help the situation at all. UGR. So rumor is UGR, Underground Racing, heard that this was happening, that they were getting ready to get bought out. So they put like 200 or 300 orders for the M150 in, and they're just doing those orders versus everyone else's orders, basically. Which, I mean, I don't blame them. UGR does a ton of business for MOTEC and things like that, but that's why UGR is still able to get their MOTECs, and everyone else is just waiting and waiting and waiting. Yes, chip issues, vendors. Buying them all from manufacturers, then marking them up 400%. Yeah, that's true. Not going to. Now I'll name drop. So Mustang Lifestyle, Andrew Sheridan. He is putting his 1314 back to stock. He is selling his MOTEC for, I think, $3,000 more than what he bought it for. It's been on the car for like 2 years, I think, and is selling it for more than when he bought it, just because of how hard those things are to get right now. Just insane. I've been waiting since I got my Whipple kit in 2022. Holy cow, really? You've been waiting that long? Different topic. How long are you willing to wait? I'll go ahead and ask you that. How long are you willing to wait until you just say screw it and use that money for something else? Because at this point, like, can you even get your money back? Has it been like with it being that long? Just question for you. Because you only run 1,500 on the street. I mean, so let me ask you something. I did. Obviously, I didn't have the traction control, but I guess it wasn't 1,500 on the street. And how often are you actually going to do that? Like, unless you're running. So, kind of heard some things from some friends, stuff like that. One guy does actually own a UGR Lambo. He's thinking that those horsepower numbers aren't actually true. And what some people kind of confirmed is MOTEC has to work on the dyno, has to be put in dyno mode, and you have to have access to the software, I think it was. I'm not 100% sure on that. But basically, to dyno a car on MOTEC, it has to be put in dyno mode, and only certain people have access to it. So does it actually make that much horsepower? Or is it like the Volkswagen issue where it knows is being tested, it makes the numbers better? Wouldn't that be amazing? That those cars actually on the street aren't making that much horsepower. It's just make a dyno number, send it off making less, and they're so reliable because they're actually not making that horsepower number. I mean, no one knows for sure, but it's kind of interesting that it has to be in a specific mode to be ran on the dyno. Mainly got MOTEC because of traction issues. Okay, yeah, I can see that. MOTEC traction control is honestly amazing. If you could kind of package that up, throw it in for much less, I know a lot of people would jump on that. But you can get traction control with other engine control modules, stuff like that, other standalones. So I guess it all depends. It does work with the CAN bus, which is kind of nice. So obviously, if you got like a digital dash or something, you can still use all that stuff. So that would be nice. I do see the pros there with that. Plus, isn't MOTEC the most expensive choice too? I know you can buy a lot of sensor places and things like that. It does add up for sure. I don't know if it's most expensive. I don't know how much other stuff is actually out there. How many other systems are out there? But like the FieldTech 700, like, have you guys seen that? Look up the FieldTech new 700. I know never really was a fan of the FieldTech, but the way technology is moving forward, like you can get 100% fully configurable dash. I think that's pretty cool. If you guys ever want to like have like a digital dash readout without running like do gauge swaps and things like that from an aftermarket, I think the way it definitely looks pretty nice. I roll race, curious how the car is going to react to the 6460 using 18 tire front interior. So I ran 17s for a little bit. I went 390, 6466s on an 18 with the DCT. 60 to 130. I mean, that's pretty quick. You're on that was on the street. When I went 292, that was at the track. So obviously you have glue, rubber, all that stuff down. 64, 66s, depending on, well, you said full interior, so your car probably weighs a lot. I would say 38, 4,000 pounds right up there. If you can get low fours, you're going to be competitive with a lot of things. Threes, you're really looking at just like a super high, super expensive build, stuff like that. I mean, the faster you get, though, the less people that want to race you. If you're going, let's say you're going mid fives, you'll catch a lot of races. The lower you get, the quicker you get 60 to 130, less people that want to race you, because not a lot of people are going to be that fast. And you start getting into the big boy stuff like GTRs, UGR Lambos, Audi, stuff like that. Those are the only people that will run a race the faster you get. So either turn down and just have a good time with more people, or if you're trying to just go as fast as possible, you'll catch less races, and that's just how it is. Bosch bought MOTEC. There it is. So Bosch bought out MOTEC. I wonder how long that deal was going through. I wonder how long before, if it was just like a quick acquisition. Just me. Pulled it up on my phone now. Honestly, you're making me reconsider. Well, I just want you to be. I don't want you to reconsider. I want you to just have all the information, because for me, there's a lot of things that, like, we tested out a lot of parts when I first got the car, things like that. It's just the way it is. Going back, I would do something like that. But I just want you to have all the information, so that way going forward, you're not sitting there, because who knows how long you'll actually that thing. Is it worth that amount of money and that amount of weight with all the other options available now? So you need to just think about what you want in the car. Is it worth the wait? Because let's say you wait another year and a half. What else could you have done with that money that was sitting there tied up over the course of that year and a half? What if a different? So I don't know. If you want the MOTEC, definitely go for it. Just, you have to sit down and think, is it worth the goals you want with the car and everything? I wonder if dyno mode is absolutely zero traction control, then let out the dyno has full. I don't know if it's anything to really do with traction control. From what I've heard, you can't even make a dyno pull without it in dyno mode, which would make sense. Like, front wheels aren't spinning, it freaks out. Like, I know, like the GT500, I had to pull the ABS module, otherwise the car would just lose its literal shit on the dyno, because just thinking it was just doing something weird. So maybe it's possible that dyno mode does play into the traction control just a little bit, but I'm assuming with how advanced MOTEC is, there's a bunch of other things that is playing into that as well. Would never use that power, honestly. We have big UGR cars and big GTRs that come out and never get runs, so it'd be a waste. I'm thinking about selling my car anyways, just joking around. But yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, those big, when you post up 3-second 6130s, 2-second 6130s, think about the amount of people that suddenly ask you to come out and race, stuff like that. Nobody, unless you get called out by some $500,000 Lambo or GTR, and then they might catch one race, or some grudge race where some guys coming from Texas up to wherever you're at to race, stuff like that. So it's, if you turn down, cool, you have a ton of fun, and you're thinking about selling your car. So I don't know if you're serious. I don't know if you have a MOTEC or not, or you just been trolling me the whole time. But if you're thinking about selling your car, I would definitely cancel the MOTEC order. Obviously, if they're going to charge you 30% restocking for something you never had in the first place, that's stupid. But if you're thinking about selling the car, cancel the MOTEC, put that money towards something else, and then see if you want to keep the car. Who knows? Maybe there's something that you've been eyeing that you haven't bought yet, simply because the money's been tied up with the MOTEC. Change things up a little bit, and who knows? Maybe you'll want to keep the car a little bit longer. You'll just have to see. Oh, definitely cut the power down once off the dyno. I remember UJR saying that years ago, and Cowboy said it recently. Oh, really? So cut the power down. Can you imagine? What's the cool thing? So I think there's a SVJ, green SVJ for sale. I'll pull up a picture. I think I still have the picture. It's a green SVJ that UGR is building, or they built, and the owner has for sale. Oh, I just have screenshots. So there, that's what it looks like. Green. SVJ, twin turbo car, obviously just insanely nice. I want 1.5 million for it, so we're not getting that. 1250 pump gas, 1600 wheel horsepower on race gas. So what do you guys think that actually makes on the street? It's hard to tell even at this point if they're making less than what they actually post. Like that's like they're just throwing out numbers there just to sell packages, and it's almost like UGR and Calvo are kind of getting after it because Calvo had how many packages Calvo has? 1300X, 1800X, 22,000, 2200. Like it's stupid how much. It's almost like they're just making packages go against each other. But that thing looks sweet. Not worth 1.5 million in my opinion, but still pretty clutches. What trans you running? Stock 10R80 upgraded or which trans? Oh yeah, maybe the computer will not be the go-to in the future. Looks like I'm having some connection issues here and there, which is fine with my phone. I like the computer simply because I can use my phone, but if I'm going to keep having connection issues, I keep seeing pop up on my screen, might not use the laptop in the future. Safe number 1200, I'd say. SVJ is coming down on price too. I'd say 900, 1300 wheel. That's pretty close. Yeah, I mean, they're still going to be insanely fast. But if you are thinking it makes 1600 horsepower, obviously making 1200 is still going to be dumb fast on the street or anything like that. But if you're spending that kind of money, I want it to make what it says it makes. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it makes 1200 on the dyno, I want it making 1200 on the street because you paid for that. Like, you did the work. You didn't do the work. The time, the money, all that stuff got put into that car, and it just comes up short when you're actually using it. To me, that's basically just false advertising. Car should make what it says to make, and that's it. SVJ license plate big, that would be a nice one, but that probably won't happen. They are so expensive. I think there's a few. I think St. Louis has an orange one. I think they want like 700 for it. So, yeah, after what would you do? I assume most of you would do MOTEC, but some might surprise me. So, what would you do? Different topic. What trans are you running? Just 10R80? What car do you have? Not exactly sure. Oh, you have a GT 500. Didn't realize you had a GT 500. Makes sense now, right? You said the Whipple kit. MOTEC, I think I'm selling it, just going with something such as full bolt-on GTR and leave it at that. I have a Hellion car at the moment. So I had a friend who had a GTR, and you're going to spend quite a bit of money and not be that fast if you go full bolt-on. Now, if you really get after it, they can be stupid fast, but like, just FYI, a lot of fun a GTR can be from like slow speed stuff like that. Higher speeds, 800 horsepower. Nothing too crazy. Crazy. Sorry about that. Obviously, I will not use down playback. It's a little bit better if you guys miss anything, but at this point, I'm not starting a new stream with my phone just to see how it works. Has anyone ever tested pure trans before? Stupid fast GTR money. I'll get to your the Sins 550. I'll get to you in a little bit. That's funny. So I reached out to him when I first went twins because we were having some what we thought were trans issues, but they were other issues. I reached out to them and they said they had people testing, great prospects on. I mean, from what I've, the Supra, the Mach 5, stuff like that, seemed working. But for the GT500, not sure exactly like if it will help or not because whoever, or they didn't post any numbers, they didn't do anything like that, so no idea. Good fast GTR money. That's why he'll be full time. Perfect. Like as long as you are okay with that, I think there will be a lot of fun. It's something I've thought about in the past, just kind of getting and just enjoying. But I don't know if I want to go down that road just with I can't leave anything untouched, and it's easier just buying something, $1,000 junker and throwing stuff into that. I heard Tremec coming out with something for the Trans 2. So they've been coming out with something for a long time now. It's some little black box that Tremec was coming out with that's to an aftermarket TCM. So ModNats, when I went to it 2021, it's been a little while. Tremec had a booth set up. They said for GT500 support, they were coming out with an aftermarket black box that would hook levels depending on swap it all in. It would design to basically handle whatever horsepower level you have. They've been saying that this is coming out for Tremec. They always deny it, say you can only get this stuff through dealers, you can only get transits through dealers, TCM access, stuff like that. They always come up with some excuse, but we have heard that they are coming out with it. I'm not sure at this point. I'm not sure when it'll actually come out. There is a car testing it. Most of you guys know what the car is. It actually works. So when they come out, who actually knows? Just because it's been well over a year since all this came out, that the black box was actually being available. Definitely is going to be the biggest thing for your car. So everything based on trans is based off of calculations. So it takes wheel speed, so your wheel height matters. It is still cutting in and out, but can't tell if it's me, you, or both. Yeah, it's cutting. Damn.